In this lecture, we're going to start entering PHP mode from our files. Starting from where we left off in the previous lecture, we're going to continue modifying the index.php file. Actually, we're not going to need to view other files for a while. To reduce distraction, I recommend closing the sidebar by pressing the button in the top left corner. Closing the sidebar leaves us with the code editor and preview. Awesome. Now, what am I talking about when I say PHP mode? Well, if we were to write HTML inside a PHP file, the PHP interpreter does not process the HTML portion of our file. That's not exactly what we want. We want the PHP interpreter to execute instructions written from our file. In order to do so, a pair of PHP tags must be added to the file. Follow along with me. At the top of the file, add the following characters: less than, question mark, PHP, space, question mark, greater than. Congrats! You've created your first pair of PHP tags. By adding these tags, we're entering PHP mode. Entering PHP mode allows our machines to begin executing instructions. These instructions can vary from sending an email, processing a transaction, or registering a new user into our system. PHP tags are always necessary. We must always tell the PHP interpreter which portion of the PHP file contains instructions and which portion contains regular HTML. As you might have already guessed, multiple PHP tags can be inserted into the file. For example, let's add another pair at the end of the file. Refreshing the page results in the same output as before. That's to be expected, since we haven't written instructions from within the PHP tags. Before we do, there are a few more things worth mentioning. Firstly, PHP tags can be written from within HTML tags. As an example, let's replace the text inside the h1 tags with a pair of PHP tags. The text disappears from the preview. This is considered completely valid PHP code. Being able to write PHP inside HTML gives us the power to generate dynamic content in various locations of our HTML page. The second thing I wanted to mention was being unable to do the reverse. This time, let's move the h1 tags inside the PHP tags. A different result gets produced. In the preview, an error gets rendered by the PHP interpreter. But why? This is because the rules of PHP mode are different from HTML mode. Inside PHP tags, we must write valid code. In the English language, there are rules for how English is read and written. There's a specific structure we must follow for writing English, such as ending a sentence with a period or capitalizing the first word of a sentence. The rules for human languages are referred to as grammar. In a similar sense, programming languages have rules for how they're read and written. These rules are referred to as a programming language's syntax. This is why we're getting an error. We're not following PHP's syntax rules. As a result, the PHP interpreter is unhappy. In the next lecture, let's start learning PHP's syntax rules.